I see the hole. It's not in the ground.
Are you kidding?
It's in a tree.
It's in the tree?
Yes. Holy crap.
We got ourselves a nest. Ooh, ooh.
We've got ourselves a problem.
The only way that it would be more justice is if they would have let me go in, behead all the murder hornets, glue them all down to something, and let me chop their little heads off or something. I just hate them so much, you know? As I approached the hive, I looked down, and there were thousands of bees that had been slaughtered. I was just praying to God that once I opened the hive, I would find the queen still alive. But as soon as I opened up that lid and I peered in, all hope was gone at that point. 60,000 of my honeybees had their heads chopped off. It's kind of like finding a family pet or maybe even like a family member that got killed and you have no idea who did it or what the heck happened. You just get that bad feeling in the pit of your stomach that something terrible has happened.
It looks like something out of a horror film with a name to match, the murder hornet.
It comes straight out of Hollywood in terms of what you think an evil alien might look like.
They are, in fact, the largest species of wasp on the planet.
And its sting is strong enough to kill a human.
Some describe the sting as feeling like hot metal inside their skin.
Their jaw can actually take a chunk of flesh out of a human body.
They can kill people and wipe out entire honeybee colonies.
60,000 honeybees torn apart in a savage attack.
There were dead bees all over the front of the hive, all over the bottom board, and they all had been chopped to bits.
They rip their heads off and take the thorax for food.
I know nature is violent, but that's like horror movie violent.
The pollination that honeybees do for our food supply cannot be understated.
Washington State entomologist Chris Looney says the clock is ticking.
The goal is to eradicate it now while the population is presumably small.
It's a bit of a race for us to find them and find their nest and destroy them before they destroy our honeybees.
If this were to become well established and then start spreading, it could be pretty catastrophic.
Albert Einstein said that if bees get wiped out, then humanity will be wiped out 4 years after that. And I'm glad that Albert Einstein understood very clearly the bee's role in pollination, because that pollen is really the dust of life.
Asian giant hornet's been on my radar since 2013. In 2013, conditions in southern China led to the deaths of 42 people. Those who did survive, they're on dialysis for the rest of their life in wheelchairs. If you get more than 1 or 2 stings, it starts to get serious. If you get 10 or 12, it becomes life-threatening. Before you know what's even happening, you could be in a real serious world of hurt. So it's one of the secondary reasons why we just don't want this to get established here permanently.
My hope is it's not too late. Right now, the murder hornet is only here in the Pacific Northwest in this area somewhere.
The most popular theory begins with a fertilized queen looking for a cozy spot to curl up for the winter. She finds her way into a stack of nestled terracotta pots, intended for export to North America. Or perhaps she boards the ship herself, one of many bringing lumber from the Pacific Northwest. Once emptied, the cargo holds are littered with bark, twigs and sawdust, perfect for digging a nest. After an 8,000-mile trip, the ship arrives on the northwest coast of North America. The queen emerges into the sunlight and flies into the lush forest, ready to start her colony. Some conspiracy theorists point out that the murder hornet just happened to show up in North America at a time in which the US is locked in bitter trade wars. Is it possible that foreign agents deliberately recruited Vespa mandarinia as a bioweapon and sent them into enemy territory to disrupt American agriculture by massacring honeybees? Yeah, that's a bit far-fetched. But in a world as interconnected as ours, there are so many ways the Asian giant hornet could have arrived.
The only reason this species is in North America is because of humans. As human beings and globalization moved a species that shouldn't be in North America to North America, that's just one more horrific impact that we can have to our food supply. This is a bottle trap. The hornet comes in, takes a drink, and gets caught in the liquid and drowns.
But the idea is if you hang these up in enough places, then we're going to know where they're active. So we know that there's going to be a nest nearby.
We have processed so far 3,794 traps from the public, 4,359 traps from WSDA, and these guys have identified more than 88,000 individual specimens so far.
Oh, look at her. Look at the size.
Oh my God. So, let me see the queen.
Look how beautiful she is. Do you
I
see
know.
her?
We're gonna make a little cinchy noose. We'll put it around the abdomen, cinch it up, and just let the tag dangle.
We have this large directional antenna, that's receiving the broadcast coming from the little tag that we're going to put on the Hornet. So we've got 3 of the little trackers, and I just have this charger here to make sure the batteries stay at 100% until we need them.
Tomorrow morning, we're hopefully going to find a happy, healthy hornet that wants to go home. Try to follow it through the woods. You compound the difficulty of even catching these things to begin with the complication of catching them alive and then figuring out a way to follow them back to their nest. That's pretty challenging.
I see the hole. It's not in the ground.
Are you kidding?
It's in a tree.
It's in the tree?
Yes. Holy crap.
We got ourselves a nest. Ooh, ooh.
We've got ourselves a problem.
The only way that it would be more justice is if they would have let me go in, behead all the murder hornets, glue them all down to something, and let me chop their little heads off or something. I just hate them so much,
Today, federal agriculture authorities destroyed a murder hornet nest, the first ever found in the United States.
This morning, finally a major breakthrough for Washington State researchers who have found where some of the elusive hornets have been hiding.
The first known nest of its kind in the U.S., discovered inside a tree north of Seattle.
76 living queens. One of them presumably was the foundress. The other ones were all the new queens that were emerging. I think we got that nest, frankly, right before they all would have left.
That's our tag. It's our tracking tag. There's no doubt that had we not destroyed this nest, each of those queens could be a new nest next year.
When we work together, when we have good science, and if we get enough people engaged, then I absolutely believe that we have a chance to eradicate this hornet.
Because this species is an introduced species, it is not governed by Washington State Fish and Wildlife laws explicitly. There's kind of this gray, empty area.
We need to be stewards for our environment and do what we can to take care of it. I see a lot of beauty in these hornets, and I see that they do belong somewhere. They just don't belong here.